Manning, CLNS Media. Ime, I'm curious how you grade a Jason Tatum performance. It feels like you can't always grade it off of his shooting and maybe not even off of his assists. But tonight, it just felt like the playmaking that we talked about before the game just showed off at a new level there.
Yeah, and to your point, we've talked about it throughout the year, and I've talked to him at length about impacting the game when he's not having his best offensive night. And so did that tonight, obviously going 3 for 17. That's usually not going to happen, but what he did well and did early was get others involved. 7 or 9 assists pretty early in the game, finished with 13. And the shot's not falling, he still attracts a good amount of attention, made the right plays. And I love his growth and progression in those areas where he's still guarding on the defensive end, still getting others involved, not pouting about his shots and trying to play through some mistakes and some physicality that they were playing with him. So when they went to boxing one on him to try to take him out, made it tough at times, but that's why we're a team. We don't rely on one guy, and you saw others step up tonight.
Fourth row, Tim Bontemps.
Ime, you've talked a bunch of these playoffs about your guys' struggles in the third quarter. Golden State's obviously historically great in those quarters. What allowed them to get going there? And then conversely, what caused everything to flip the other way again in the fourth?
Offensive rebounds to start the quarter, turnovers to start the quarter. We didn't have an extremely high number, only finished with 13, but started the quarter off poorly in that area. We hadn't played our best by any stretch of the imagination in the first half, and to only be down 4, we felt we were in decent shape, knowing they come out playing hard in the third. Turned the ball over, and then Looney on the glass. I think they had 4 or 5 offensive rebounds that quarter, and so the extra possessions for them, that's obviously way too many. Giving up 12 offensive rebounds for 26 points, way too many. And so we can clean up those areas. We knew we'd be in good shape, and I think we did that in the fourth quarter. Until they hit that late 3, it was a 13-point quarter, and credit to our guys, credit to Marcus, the defensive player of the year on the bench, while Peyton, Derrick, and other guys are stepping up on both ends, and then we can bring them in to close it. And so, like I said, we rely on the team defensively. Offensively, they're great as well, scoring 40, but really the offensive rebounds, turnovers in that quarter got them ahead.
Second row for a seat.
Hi, Ime. How proud were you of just the fight that you saw in your team tonight, and considering they had never had finals experience before? I mean, the lack of nerves that they showed.
Yeah, that's kind of who we've been all year. Tough grinders, a resilient group that we can always know we can rely on our defense to kind of buckle down when needed. Weren't playing our best in the first quarter. Curry got loose, didn't score in the second quarter, and we held them to 22, got ourselves back in the game. They had another big third quarter due to some of our mistakes and a lack of physicality on our part, and then we can lock down again and play great in the fourth. And so we always rely on that, and impressive against a really elite scoring team.
On the far right, Tim Reynolds.
Tim Reynolds with the Associated Press. Ime, I understand that you take a win no matter how it comes. I get that. But in a weird way, is it more rewarding when you're not riding a guy who scored 40 or something like that, when you had so many guys, especially in the fourth, doing it on both ends? A win is a win, but does that make it even more significant the way you guys did it?
Yeah, for 2 reasons. I think, like I said, we do look at ourselves as a complete unit, as a team, and we've seen the teams that rely on guys in the playoffs, whether it was Brooklyn in the first round with Durant, Milwaukee, Antetokounmpo, and Miami with Butler. We know if you take those guys out, teams are going to struggle, and so we pride ourselves on everybody being able to contribute on both ends. So that's rewarding, especially on a night where your best guy has an off night. Others step up, and like I said, some of the starters on the bench, other guys are playing great. Al coming in, stepping up late. So we do. It is rewarding, and knowing we can play so much better. That's the main thing. Didn't have a great 3 quarters and kept ourselves in the game, and then locked down when we needed to.
Seventh row on the left.
Robert Littell, BSO. Can you talk to us a little bit about the play of Derrick White in the fourth quarter when you guys made that mini run? He really was playing aggressive throughout the game, but what did he really bring to the table to help start that run in the fourth quarter?
And a little bit of everything. Obviously going 5 for 8 from 3, but playmaking, shot making, and defense. Talk about we don't have much drop off when Marcus goes out and he comes in. His size and versatility on the defensive end, playmaking ability to get guys involved and be aggressive on offense was huge tonight. So to get 21 from him when other guys were struggling, and 24, even Peyton's 8, and 24 from Al, and 26 from JB. It's huge on a night where JT's not going. So we needed that from him. That unit kind of kept us rolling in the fourth quarter to start and defended extremely well, and Derrick has been playing extremely well lately, as you saw in the last few games in Miami series.
Fourth row on the right.
Abby Chin, NBC Sports Boston. Ime, you guys held the Warriors to 13 points in the fourth quarter while going with a smaller lineup. How was that group able to do that?
I think our switches were aggressive. At times, some of our bigger guys were getting caught too low, especially when Curry was getting going early. So we wanted to go to a smaller unit and kind of get more aggressive on the ball. A lot of small. We did some pre-switching to keep the bigs out of the actions and took some time off the clock. And then this is what we rely on all year, our one-on-one defense. And guys really clamped in a little bit better, more physicality, more awareness on their shooters, taking up some space. And seemed like they seemed to wear them down a little bit. But we pride ourselves on guys having to beat us one-on-one all night. And although he had 34, only had 13 after the first quarter. So did a decent job after that.
On the far right, Mark Murphy.
Hey, man, you guys shot a high proportion of threes tonight, especially down the stretch. I think you had 9 in the fourth, and you had 5 in like a 2-minute stretch. Is that basically what they were giving you all night? I mean,
Yeah, late in the game, they went to box and one on JB. Early in the game, they went to box and one on JT, and they went to zone some late. So when we started getting some penetration, getting to the basket, they zoned up a little bit, and every time we got the ball in the middle, they collapsed the paint, and kickouts were wide open there, and guys obviously stepped up and made them. So we'll take that all the time. Knowing they're a little smaller, don't have rim protection, they do it as a team, and that's a shot that they give up a lot of times.
Kevin O'Connor in the first row.
Ime. Tonight, Jaylen Brown isolated 17 times according to the second spectrum. You guys scored 15 points on those, and we've seen him every year in his career get better and better at scoring in isolations and creating for others. How would you say he's progressed in your assessment as an isolation creator, not just in the regular season, but in these playoffs as well?
Yeah, it's something he's growing and learning about. Still learning to play in that crowd and make the right read at times. But early in the game, got a little dribble heavy at times, had some turnovers and some tough shots. And we showed that at halftime that we don't have to take any of those. They're going to collapse the paint, know where your outlets are at, let's get our spacing correct. And they do have some favorable matchups for us that we can attack. And so we got to that in the second half. He had a great start to the fourth quarter with JT struggling a little bit. We went to him more, and he was extremely aggressive getting downhill. Got the big, switched on him, and got the shots that he wanted.
Third row on the right.
Rohan Nadkarni, Sports Illustrated. Ime, I think in the first half, the broadcast caught Marcus saying something about adjusting a little bit defensively, asking the bigs to come up a little bit more.
Yep.
In the fourth quarter, though, specifically, did you adjust anything you guys were doing defensively? Did you ask the guys to do anything differently? Why do you think you're able to have so much success in the last few minutes of the fourth?
Yeah, we started switching more instead of, they were attacking Rob at times with Wiggins. He was a little bit too low. Al was as well. So we got a little bit more aggressive and took away some of their airspace on the threes and tried to get them inside the three-point line and make them beat us there, as well as going with the smaller lineup. So did some pre-switching to keep the bigs off and worked well for us.
Last question, Adam Himmelsbeck, second row.
Steph was saying yesterday, thinking back to his first finals, game one of his first finals was the day he felt it, he felt the jitters. I feel like you could see it a little bit out there with a few air balls from guys who don't usually. What is it like to withstand a huge first quarter from Steph, withstand this crowd, and still at the end of this night to come out with a win? What does that do for you guys, do you think, moving forward?
It's confidence builder because we didn't play our best at all. Obviously, Jason didn't play his best, but every time we looked up, 32-28 after the first quarter, only down 4 at halftime, and we hadn't played well at all. And so they finally stretched the lead a little bit to get us to 92-80 going into the fourth, but we had a huge quarter there. So knowing what we can do defensively, if we're a little more tuned in, lack of communication in the first half, I think obviously shows the blueprint for what we can do there. I think getting those opening night jitters out, and I think that settled some as the game went on. And, saw the guys step up, but we don't expect JT to have a tough shooting night like that again. I don't know if you attribute it to jitters or some of the defense that we're throwing at him, boxing one in some of those zones, but shows what we are, which is a team.